want to say hello, good morning, and welcome to our listeners from around the world. This is another edition of our great morning show this morning with Soulivity, broadcasting live from our studio right here in the nation's capital, Washington, D.C., and on KMET 1490 AM radio in Southern California. My name is Brian Wesley Johnson, and I'm joined today by some very beautiful and amazing co-hosts, Sheila Applegate and Dr. Chanel DeGuzman. Good morning to both of you, ladies.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How has the week been? I know that for some of us in the United States, it's been kind of hard. I mean, with the extreme heat down in the South. We're again in some parts of the nation, we're again under a smoke alert for air quality. No, Sheila, we were just talking about that for you. So, I hope everybody's doing okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And it reminds me when the smoke comes that we should, that I should be sending light to California and to all the fires and to Mother Earth herself, right?
Right. Again, my family out there, they remind me, welcome to the party, pal. In terms of like the air quality and that kind of thing. And so again, we want to make sure that we're sending out light and love to all of you who may be affected either by the air quality right now. I mean, please, the experts are saying that if you're in a really bad area, wear some eye protection, wear a mask, basically like an N95 or KN95 mask that will help filter out that smoke from you breathing it in. And those of you who are in heat advisory places, as far south as Louisiana, I mean, I just saw a story today about that. That was really bad. So try to keep yourself hydrated if you can, and in some type of air conditioning, because it's bad. I mean, it's like really bad down there.
Well, I got to tell you,
Yeah.
I also send love and light out, and I'm in an office where I'm probably one of the only ones that, have fully clothed in terms of, long sweater, long sleeve shirt,
Right.
pants.
Right.
So I do feel fortunate. I'm in the air conditioned place, but in some buildings, I mean, this is where the air AC goes, really low. And so it's super cold.
Wow.
Yeah, just
Doesn't
Wow.
that
it's a
always feel so
minor
strange?
inconvenience, but, I can't wear my pretty summer, attire because I'm
Right.
in my winter attire. We're inside.
Well, we have an amazing show today with a special guest that I'm going to introduce in a moment. I can't wait for you all to meet her. But before we begin, we want to make sure that we remind all of you, listen, this is as much our show as it is yours, and that we want your questions, your comments, your thoughts, and you can post them right into the chats on Facebook and YouTube, and we'll include you in our conversation. And so I am so happy to introduce to you our guest for today. Sharon Pearson has been an entrepreneur for most of her life. As the owner of the beautiful guest house in Syracuse, New York, she helps her clients and guests relax and enjoy celebrations and gatherings of all types. You see, the guest house is reminiscent of having these events in the intimacy of your home, private but yet pristine. Sharon is also an expert thrift shopper, and she has beautifully combined her passion to provide a community rental space with her love of thrift shopping. You see, nearly every item in her beautiful guest house is a gem that Sharon acquired through thrifting. And here is the best part: most everything in the guest house is for sale. I love that. So if you fall in love with an item while you're at an event or a gathering there, you can arrange to take it home with you. So how awesome is that? And with that, it is my pleasure to welcome to this morning Sharon Pearson. Hey, girl.
Hey, good morning, everyone.
Good
Good
morning. Good
morning.
morning. Good morning. Oh man, I have been looking forward to this show. People who know me know that I love when I have time, right? I love shopping.
Mhm.
and done it internationally. And doesn't matter if it's, if it's a great like little boutique, or outdoor shop or whatever. I love it. And so happy to have you here, Sharon, where you're going to tell us, give us tips on both thrifting and becoming, a expert in thrifting, because we believe that thrifting is everyone's super hidden power. But also about this beautiful guest house that we're going to be showing some pictures of in just a second. So, um, I guess my first question to you is, um, you know, it seems, and this is internationally, it seems that thrifting seems to be a growing trend that is changing both the world of fashion and how we shop for fashion, but also part of home decor as well. It's here to stay, isn't it?
Uh, if, if I have anything to do with it, it is.
I
But
love it.
yeah,
Have you seen that over? I mean, you've been doing the guest house now for 7 years, and
yes.
have you seen an increase in people doing more thrift shopping?
Oh, absolutely. I've been thrifting probably since the mid 80s,
Wow.
and I just kind of discovered it by accident. But once I discovered it, I was bitten.
Well, it sounds like that was a good bite in your favor, because it seems like this is something that you're really passionate about.
It is. I am passionate about it. Didn't I didn't begin thrifting, but I kind of wandered into it, and I went with a friend or an acquaintance, and I was riding with her, and she said, I want to stop at the thrift store and just check some stuff out. I wasn't really into thrifting. I didn't know anything about it. And I just kind of went with her because she was my ride. And as she was shopping like she was in Saks. And I was just kind of wandering around, and I came upon a coat, and it was a designer brand name coat, similar to one that I had bought.
Wow.
And I looked at it, and it was really in really good shape. It looked brand new. And I
Wow.
looked at the price, which was absolutely ludicrous. And I thought, oh, this can't be. And I just was I was just mesmerized. So I wandered around a little more, and I saw some other items. These were basically clothing items at that time, and the the quality was great and the prices were crazy. And I had just become a single parent,
Hmm.
and so money was, there was a premium.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I just could not believe the pricing, and I couldn't believe the quality. So by the time that day kind of closed up, she had bought nothing, and I had an armful of things. And I was, from that point on, I was just hooked.
Wow. Sheila, did you have a question?
Yeah. So, I love when you talk about the stories from earlier days up until now. And like Brian was saying, there is a trend now. I know I met you, Sharon, right around the time where my kids were really moving into thrifting because of their drive to shop consciously and to support the environment, and knowing about the sweatshops and the industries. So, I know you've been here. Are you watching other people come in and just kind of smiling with them, or what's your experience as you watch people wake up to this?
Oh, I think people are less hesitant. Um, my children were not into thrifting during the time I was thrifting, or at the height of the times I was thrifting. But now they're becoming a little more conscientious and interested in it because the finds are just so unique.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I shop at the nonprofit thrifty stores, so it's a way of kind of giving back, and I am conscientious that it's for a good cause. And people now, there's not the stigma that was attached back in the mid '80s, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so now people are happily thrifting.
I love that. I have to buy, like, I get bonus points if I buy my kids Christmas presents that are thrifted. So,
Yeah, we were joking before we went on. I'm not a bona fide shopper, and the times that we primarily go to the thrift shop are to sell items. And so I
Mm.
see that as a way, like you said, Sharon, of giving back to, for the items that, especially some of the items that you only wear a few times and you really can't, like a dress, a fancy dress or something, you really can't wear too many more times. We end up selling that or sometimes sell, but mostly, contribute, give it back. And so, what is your experience in terms of being able to have that contribution and share maybe some of the goodness that you have that you no longer need and provide that for others?
Well, I can't tell you how many times I have bought something from the thrift store, actually donated it back to the thrift store, and come across it again and pick it up, and it's like, oh, this is really cute. It's like, wait a minute, I think I already bought this. So yeah, I've done that several times. I buy things that I like. I
Oh,
I just buy things that I love, and I find really unique. I call them my treasures, but I find unique items at the thrift stores that I don't even see in the retail stores.
mm-hmm.
mhm,
And
mhm.
I I'm hooked.
Well, I know after people visit your guest house and go in there, they're gonna be hooked as well. And so when we come back, Sharon, what I'd like to do is ask you more about, how you integrated your passion for thrifting with the founding of the guest house as well, because I know that there's got to be a beautiful story there. And so, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, everybody, we'll have more on thrifting, your hidden superpower, with our very special guest, Sharon Pearson, the owner of the guest house, in just a minute. We'll be back in about 60 seconds.
Have you ever asked the question, if I was to be anything, what would I be? Regardless of money, regardless of status, beyond popularity and fame. Living your passion, feeling your life has purpose. Soulivity is a space to nurture that which lives in all of us. A place where work can become play, and doing what we love creates the dreams of a lifetime.
Hello, we're back with more of This Morning with Soulivity, and we're talking about thrifting, your hidden superpower, power, with our very special guest, Sharon Pearson, the owner of the guest house in New York. Sharon, you've done something so unique and so beautiful where you've combined your real passion and love of thrifting, but with a beautiful community space called the guest house. How did that all come about?
Okay, the guest house is a culmination of many years and uh, many activities that I've been involved in.
Mhm.
I knew that I wanted to do something that was unique, uh, and I began doing coordinating events, weddings, um, nonprofit fundraisers, and even after I stopped doing the coordinating, people would call me and they would often say, "Where can I have my sister's shower? Where can I have my mom's, my mom's retirement?"
Right,
And they
right.
wanted these intimate spaces. These were smaller events. And so I'd give them suggestions, hotels, lodges, have it at your house. But there was always a reason that just didn't work for them. They either, they weren't accessible. Aunt Sue can't get up the stairs. People are afraid of my dog. They're
Right.
allergic to my cat. My neighbors are nosy. There's nowhere to hide. How to hide my valuables. My husband said no. So I just started thinking if there was a way that I could kind of circumvent some of these issues, I might have a little market here.
Yeah.
And so I went
Mhm.
about looking for a space. And my daughter came across the guest house and saw the realtor sign, and she knew what I was trying to do. And she pulled in and called me, and she's like, "Mom, there's this little place, and it even kind of looks like a house. Just come see it." And
Wow.
so I did. And the minute I walked in, I knew. I knew.
Wow.
That is so special.
Wow.
And now I didn't have any real experience in decorating. I had no experience in decorating, really.
Oh, wow.
Uh, Basically, my house kind of looked like you stirred it with a spoon. I just didn't have that interest. But things just fell in place. I took the keys to the guest house in March 1st, and I had my first event May 15th. And it was fully decorated, renovated. I knocked down walls. I painted
Wow.
everything. I shampooed carpets. It just happened so quickly. And everything pretty much came from the thrift stores. And I had been
Wow.
thrifting by this time for years. And I think as I was thrifting, I had the guest house in mind because it just came together.
Wow.
And I didn't have any money, and the banks were like, no,
Right.
not this time. So I just kept going. And I took things out of my house, furniture out of my house that I'd gotten from thrifting, and other people helped. People would call and they'd say, "Oh, I have a table. I'm not using it. If you can use it, you can have it." And they'd bring it, and it just came together. It was like it was all planned.
Wow.
Divine order and timing.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
exactly.
Yeah.
One of one of the things I love, Sharon, is anytime I go into like the guest house, it's new, right? The decor is new because you've sold items. Sometimes, I started out with beautiful white
Wow.
stickly couches, and then now I think it has the ones in the pictures that are being shown on the screen. And um, it's always an adventure, and you
It
always
is.
have stories to tell about different items. What are some of your favorite stories about the buys or the sell?
Well, I love the fact that people come and they come again, maybe 6 months later, and they're like, "Oh, it looks different." And it's like, yeah, because it's all new. So people come in and they see items and there are tags on them, and they just buy them. They walk out with chairs and uh, decor, and it's just an adventure for them. and the items are unique. The problem is that I buy things that I like. And so then I have separation
Oh.
anxiety,
Oh.
especially if I buy it and I've only had it for a day. And I bought things in the same day people would want to purchase them. And it's like, oh, wait a minute, I haven't enjoyed it enough. But
That
it's
reminds
an adventure.
that reminds me of when we used to do the Christmas exchange, and you would get a gift and somebody could come and take it from you. Do you guys remember that?
I
Oh
do,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh
Sometimes there
yeah.
would be, little tips that that result. But Sharon, I look forward to visiting the guest house. This is my kind of space. I love intimate, cozy, homey spaces where people come together and celebrate and have food and fellowship and just sit down on a cozy, sofa or chair, or, just to be able to move through rooms. And I just think it's a phenomenal idea. And I'm really happy that you were able to turn your passion and it just unfolded, in this pursuit, and that you're providing this kind of a atmosphere vibe for so many people.
It, I appreciate it. I am grateful every single day for the guest house, every single day. And I'm I'm cleaning it and I'm there more than I have to be. I clean it way more than I clean my own house. And people will sometimes see my car out front and they'll just come in and they'll just say, I'm just going to hang for a minute, and they'll watch Netflix or, movies, will popcorn and drink coffee, and they just feel comfortable. And even in some of the events, and I do more baby showers and bridal showers than anything else, I think. But people get really comfortable, and at some point, I have to kind of say, "You're gonna have to go sit on the porch because I'm going home."
That's when you know you've got a hit.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, listen, we're going to take another quick break. And when we come back, Sharon, I'm going to ask you about do you have one or two really memorable stories, either about the guest house or about thrifting in general? Um, probably more about the guest house, because I know it's been 7 years since you've been there. So I know you've got to have at least one or two that's in your back pocket that are really memorable. So we're going to take another
Sure.
quick break, and when we come back, we'll have more with Sharon Pearson and thrifting your hidden superpower in just a second. We'll be back in just about a minute or so.
Are you ready to take that first step towards true, unwavering inner happiness? Are you like thousands of people who have everything they need, not want, but need, and still can't seem to find happiness and fulfillment in their lives? If so, the Steps to Happiness show is for you. On my show, you will learn about the principles and practices that lead to true inner happiness. Because guess what? It isn't found in our external environment, but within ourselves instead. Together with my guests, we will explore the latest physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being practices. And together, we'll advise you on the actionable steps you can take towards a happier, more fulfilled, authentic life. So I invite you to join me each week on Soulivity TV on the Steps to Happiness show with me, Teresa Greco.
Yes, you want to make sure that you're going to be checking out our show tomorrow. I mean, actually today with Teresa at 12 noon today. She's going to be talking about transforming fear into joy and happiness today. So it's going to be a really, really good show. So we want you to check that out today, right here on Soulivity TV. Ladies, we are having a good old time. I wish we were actually out shopping right now, because now
I wish we were in the
I
guest
want to
house.
go shopping with you.
I'm like
Yeah.
feeling the bug now.
We can have
Sharon,
a
it's all
field
your
trip.
fault.
A field
Right?
shopping trip.
You're welcome.
So Soulivity live on location at the guest
Right.
house.
Yeah. And
Um,
she's got equipment and everything there.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Um, Sharon, I mean, this space is just so wonderful. And I was looking at some of the other pictures that you have at the Facebook site as well, where people just smiles all around. Do you have like one or two, like maybe one special story that's kind of stayed with you after all these years of having the guest house?
I guess probably closest to my heart is the first event. And
Wow.
it was a college graduation. I had just basically completed the guest house, and I got a call from a woman who saw it on Facebook, saw the announcement, and she called, and it was Thursday. It was a Thursday evening, and she wanted to have her daughter's college graduation there on Saturday. And
Wow.
I kind of
Wow.
said, Saturday, like the day after tomorrow? Like,
Wow.
yeah. And so I was very nervous. Plus, at that time I was still working full time uh, in marketing for the New York State Fair, and so from May to September is fair time, and
Mm.
so I usually just closed up the guest house and hadn't planned to start it until September. But that first event was so beautiful, and people were so impressed and just gave me all sorts of accolades, and I just knew this was it.
Wow. Wow.
And
This,
because we allow people to self cater, I mean, there's just so many pieces of the guest house and
yeah.
the variety of events. It's just great. I love it.
Wow. Well, we have a comment came in from Renee Hager Smith. She said, Sharon, I'm signing books tonight with Sheila and Zach. I cannot wait to see and
Oh,
immerse in the energy of the guest house. I'm a huge thrifter as well and love
ah.
vintage pieces. I'm looking forward to seeing your thrifted items. So, see, everybody. It's time for you to make a trip to Syracuse and hang out at the guest house. Um,
Absolutely.
Sheila, did you have a question?
Yeah, I mean, we all love the guest house. You know, I love it. I do want
Yeah.
to focus a little on the items and kind of move into some of your tips, because I know so many
Yeah.
people listening are saying, I don't know how to thrift, and I don't think I do. Like, I'm so happy if like twice a year I find an item that I want to buy at a thrift shop. That's perfect like yours, but you do this on a regular basis. And so let's start with a story that comes to mind about some of your favorite items. And if you want, you can start sharing some of your tips along the way. How's that sound?
Sure. Oh, my favorite items. I think one of my favorite items is a statue that I
Mhm.
found at a thrift store, and it's probably maybe 4 feet high. And I set it over in the corner. It's kind of a ceramic looking Mexican esque kind of piece. But I was watching one of my favorite shows, Columbo, and there was my statue in the background
Are
of
you
the show.
serious?
Absolutely. I actually took screenshots of the show because my statue was there. It was absolutely, I mean, I was flabbergasted. It was great. Um,
Wow. Wow. So,
and
so that piece is famous.
it is famous. It
And you were
really
doing it
is.
in Syracuse, right? You thrifted that in Syracuse.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's also a problem too when I do travel out of town is getting stuff that I find back to Syracuse. Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh.
You
Sick.
Yeah.
know,
But
I
there's just great stuff that you can find. And I go, people ask me which thrift store I go to. I go to all of them. Um, I just make the rounds. And now that I'm a senior, uh, thrift stores have senior days. So,
Mhm.
I'll
oh
only go to
wow.
certain places on Tuesdays and certain places on Wednesdays. And I can't not find something great.
That's so
I can't.
cool.
Wow.
I was going to ask you about that part of it, Sharon, in that it sounds like you are open, you allow, and you have basically like an expectation that something good will come to you in your thrifting experience. And tell us what that's like, especially for those of us who don't quote unquote shop or thrift, of having an expectation and or being open and allowing, the right item to, be there for you. Tell us what that's like.
It's really, I can't even explain it, but I have my spiritual walk, and
Mhm.
sometimes during my regular prayer, I'll just talk to God and say, I really could use a podium. And I'll walk into a thrift store in the next few days, and there it is, front and center.
Wow.
It just happens over and over. I wanted a vacuum cleaner, a really nice vacuum cleaner. I walked into a thrift store. A man had just brought in a whole, I think, are they Hoovers? No,
Mhm. Yeah, Hoover.
Hoover.
Yeah.
Kirby's, a
Oh,
brand new Kirby.
um,
I mean, complete. It was brand new. He said his mom had it, and it was too heavy for her. I thought, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I got a Kirby for $30.
Wow.
A brand new one. And it's kind of an amazing thing, but I do expect to find something at the thrift store. It actually got to the point where I had to stop going because I was just overcome with items. And I couldn't say no. I would always find something that was either a great value or something I really loved or something I thought someone else would love.
Wow. Wow. Well, we're going to continue on this because I think I want to know more about your tips as well. Like, I know you said go to all of them, but maybe you have a favorite place that you go to on a regular basis. Maybe not. Maybe they're all your favorite.
Yeah.
But we're going to take another quick break, and when we come back, we'll have more on thrifting your hidden superpower with our very special guest, Sharron Pearson, in just a minute. We'll be back in about 2 minutes. Hey there, this is Brian with Soulivity.com. I want to share some exciting news about our new Aspire Academy by Soulivity. Now, you probably want to know what the Aspire Academy by Soulivity is. Well, it exclusively connects you with people around the globe and who share the intense desire to improve themselves and create a better life for themselves today. There's classes, there's workshops, there's live events, and even more exclusively just for you. You see, I wanted you to have a safe space where you could grow, you can learn, and it would empower you in all aspects of your life, including your mind, your body, and your soul. So how do you get started? Well, it is so easy. First of all, the best part, joining Aspire Academy is absolutely free. Just click on the Join Now button, sign up, and begin your journey. As a special part of this invitation to you, there are some free courses that are available for you to try from our amazing roster of coaches and collaborators. It's our way of saying thank you for all of your support and being with us along our journey of expansion. I hope you enjoy the Aspire Academy by Soulivity today. Start the process. Learn more about your passion, your purpose, and how to live a higher quality life. Hey, and we're back with more of This Morning with Soulivity. I'm joined today by my very special co-host, Sheila Applegate and Dr. Chanel, and our very special guest, Sharron Pearson, who's talking about, our thrifting superpower. and we're trying to get some tips here on how to become an excellent thrifter from her. Sharron, I love the fact that you've got this connection, that you're using this very deep connection that all of us have when we need, want, or desire something, right? We can go within and we can ask the question, right? And say, and then surrender, right? Because that's part of
Absolutely.
it too. Talk a little bit more about that part of your thrifting superpower.
Well, I try to now, because I've been doing it so long, to be more intentional,
Yeah.
I think. Even though there's that expectation that I won't be able to turn something away, I really am more intentional, and I do now thrift with the guest house in mind.
Mhm,
I
mhm.
enjoy the fact that people come in and they see these items and they ooh and ah a little bit. And I want to really have them enjoy these items as much as I do. Absolutely. And so now I'm a little more intentional, but I
Right.
still have this. I can't explain this. I don't know this. It's not a superpower, but I can walk into a thrift store and just kind of stand at the door and scan it, and my hand will go up and my finger will point and I'll say that, and I'll walk and there it is.
Well, I think that's a superpower.
Me too.
I
I mean, I mean, this is such, listen, everybody, this is such an important lesson for all of us. And this is, I mean, it includes thrifting, but it's like for life too, right? When we want to manifest something in our lives, when we have a question about something. I mean, Sharon, you're in this part of your world, you're practicing it, right? You are in tune. You're right on target, and you're letting the flow come into you and guide you to where you need to go. So much so that you're able to do this superpower in thrift shops. So when I come to New York, you and I gonna go some places,
oh,
and and I'm gonna let your finger do the walking and the talking.
absolutely. Actually, there's a little store and within the guest house. It's a two-story building.
Yeah.
So upstairs is where I kind of store my overruns. And every now and then I'll open up the guest house and invite people in, and it's called Icky Wiki at the guest house. And it stands for I'll know it when I see it.
Mm.
Oh, I love
And
that.
people just come in and shop. Actually, there's one coming up in July.
Ooh, I'm gonna
And
be there.
Ooh.
please do. Yes, it's pretty fun. And the prices are great. And I'm not trying to make money from the sales, but it's one of the tools to encourage people to come to and see the guest house and experience the guest house.
Right.
And often when they do come in, they feel the comfort and the joy that's in the guest house. And the guest house has been joy from day one.
Wow.
I
I love
really
it.
don't have a horror story of
Mhm.
events at the guest house.
That's
It's been
awesome.
great. It is my happy place,
Wow.
and I
Sharon,
Wow.
want
I,
other
I
people to feel it.
yeah, Sharon, I have a quick question when you're talking about tips. Maybe you can speak to those of us. So when I do shop, it's because I need an outfit the next day. So
Mm. Mhm.
so that's
Okay.
one of the reasons why I don't thrift, because I have to go where at least I know I can just go and grab
Right.
something. So I don't have a
Right.
lot of time, but maybe you can speak to, developing that patience. And when I said allowing, maybe going when you necessarily don't need something, but just seeing, like you said, if you're attracted to it, then, you might find something that you could use. And I also really didn't expand my thinking to look for household items so much. If I do happen to get something, it's usually a clothing item. And so maybe you can just speak to the patience that you might want to set as your intention when you do go thrifting.
Oh, my intention is to find something I love. That really is my intention. And I go all the time. Last week, oh my goodness, I found this coat. Oh my God, I can't wait. I cannot wait for winter. This is the cutest coat ever.
I love it.
I mean, I can't wait. It's just beautiful. And I wasn't really looking for a coat, but I knew I would find something that I really loved. And this happens to me over and over, as that things just call me. And I see things that sometimes others don't see. And I've gone with my friends thrifting, trying to expose them, and they just overlook things that I gravitate to. And they'll say, "How did you know that? How did you see that?" Don't know, but I'm open to it. I expect to see it.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but if you're intentional, you can't thrift for an outfit that you need tomorrow. That's hard to do. Very seldom does that happen for me. But I thrift at leisure, and I just see things,
Wow.
and it's
You
fun.
know, yeah, when I'm listening to you, I'm like pulling out some of the tips that you're saying that maybe you don't even realize are tips because you're so natural at it right now. But that what Dr. Chanel pointed out, the ability to intend, but also trust and know there's an expectation that what you want or desire, that something will be there for you. I think that's really an important tip. You surrender to higher energy, to God, the universe, whatever people use to describe that connection. And then that I was really curious about do you stop at the beginning of the store? I actually wanted you to ask that or to tell us that because you stop and you center and then you let that guidance push through you and direct you. And then you use your imagination because you're imagining what the next possibility for that item could be. So I just wanted to draw out some tips that I heard from you.
I do center you. That's absolutely true. But
Yeah.
I also looking for the unique items, and I'm also looking for items that I could repurpose. I love finding something bulk and then repurposing it to
That's cool.
something else. Oh,
Can you
I
give an example?
I do crafting, and
Oh.
that's new and unique for me. But uh, I found rings. I found a bunch of bulk rings, little thin golden rings, and they wanted probably $2 for 1,000 of them. It's like, I don't know what I want them for, but I took them. And so I've been able to use those rings in crafts for years.
Wow.
I
Oh,
make
cool.
little dolls, little angels, and I use the rings for their necklaces or their purse straps. So I find these little
Wow.
things, and I just buy them because I know that I'll find a use for them in the future.
Wow.
Cool. Very
Yeah.
Wow.
cool.
Well,
Well, you have to be careful because it can overtake your house.
That's another tip. Don't get storage
Yeah.
unit or don't buy too much.
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
Sharon, thank you so much for being here. Would you come back? Would you come back and join us and talk more about like some of the finds that you have? Maybe we can have like a thrifty Thursday or something like that.
Ooh.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
yeah, because I love again what you do reminds us all that the impossible is always possible, and
Hmm.
that from how can you explain that you're walking into a place you've had this idea, this is what you want, and then you go in and you find not just something that is like it, but the perfect thing.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a lesson for all of us. And so thank you for giving that lesson. We definitely want to have you back. You can find out more information about the guest house, everybody, by going to theguesthousenewyork.com. We've also put that in our chat. Please go check this out. And if you're led, book it. Book the space. Go in there and hang out with Sharron and have some coffee and popcorn and do some shopping while you're there.
That's right.
So thanks again, Sharron. Listen, everybody, we're going to take another very quick break, and when we come back, we'll have some final thoughts from everybody. We'll be right back.
6 years ago, when I started Soulivity, my vision was to support everyone in improving their life through the discovery of their passion and purpose, so they could become the best version of themselves, to battle fear and ignorance, and create a better world today. Get inspired to live your passion and purpose. Visit Soulivity.com now.
And we'll quickly go to some final thoughts. We'll go, Sheila, we'll go to you first.
I guess I kind of gave my final thoughts with the summary of all those tips. But I do want to say that, I just love Sharron and her energy, and that exudes over through the entire guest house. And then also it's the joy, right? That was the one thing I didn't say that I heard in it, is she takes joy in the process of it. And that's a tip we can use for all of our lives.
Absolutely. Dr. Chanel?
Well, Sharron, would you be terribly upset if I modeled your guest house here in Michigan? We definitely need such a space, and I might be the perfect person for it. But I'm so excited that I have been introduced to you and to the guest house, and just expanded my thinking on thrifting. And something that came to my mind in the whole process of your setting your intention and your expectation is that you will decide on a matter and it will be established for you. And so the next time I go into a thrift store, I'm going to stand at the door. I'm going to center myself. I'm going to set an expectation to find something that will be, I'll be drawn to, and that I will also love. So thank you for sharing your passion and your gift with us today.
Oh, so beautiful. I'm just gonna say ditto, because and practice what you're preaching, Sharron, through your own life experience. Again, making the quote unquote impossible possible, and making your dreams come through by understanding that spirit is always with us, and whatever answer to whatever question, whatever need, whatever want that we have, all we have to do is go within, center, and let it guide us to where the answer is. And so thanks again. Thank
for being
you.
Here.
We're going through some Soulivity shameless plugs. Of course, Sheila, we've been talking about this for about a week, and we're going to keep talking about this amazing book, The Energy Healer's Oracle. Can you tell us really quickly about this?
What I can tell you for anyone local is, if you go to the guest house tonight at 6:30 to 8:30, we will be there signing books, and you can shop around the guest house as well. But this is a book that is a culmination of about 20 master healers from around the world, each sharing our story of a healing technique or modality that we offer. And it gives tips to each person who reads it on how to transform your life right in that moment.
Perfect. And you also got your soul connection sessions that are available.
Yep. If you'd like a one-on-one session with me to connect deeper with your soul energy, use the code SOUL23 to get $44 off your first session, because you are a Soulivity This Morning listener.
Dr. Chanel, you've got a fantastic book for people to go out and buy, where they can learn to love themselves more freely. Can you tell us a little bit about this book?
Yes, Brian. So this is the book that you want to dive into. It is a very friendly, loving read. You'll be surrounded by the energy to help you come back to that original place inside of you that God has ordained so that you can live out your passion and your purpose and get away from all of the external things that might be distracting you from your higher vision and your higher calling. So it's a great book, really great exercises in every single chapter for you to connect with.
Oh, love it, love it, love it. And you also have some complimentary coaching sessions.
And yes, just if you want to chat wherever you are, figure out where you want to go, and we'll figure out what is getting in the way, what is stopping you from getting to that higher purpose that God has for you and that you know is inside of you waiting to come out. So happy to chat with you in a one-on-one session.
I love doing shameless plugs because we shameless. We're shameless. Listen, really quickly, the new Soulivity.com is coming to you soon. We're about a week away. We're launching on July 6th. So mark your calendar for the new Soulivity.com, where it's going to give you even more of what you've been getting. More on passion, more on purpose, more on high quality life with more content, more features, more capabilities. So looking forward to seeing you there, or be square, on July 6, 2023, where the new Soulivity.com will be launching. Additionally, please follow us on social media, where you can learn more about everything that's going on in the world of Soulivity. And you can also sign up for our mailing list there as well, where you can learn more information about what's going on in our world. Wow. Ladies, I mean, gosh, it's in so quick every single time. But we got more joy to happen tomorrow and through the next weeks coming. So thank you both for being here, Sheila and Dr.
Yeah.
Chanel.
Absolutely.
Listen, on behalf of all of us, I want to say thank you for joining us for this episode of This Morning with Soulivity. We hope that you come back and join us every weekday at 8 a.m. Eastern for our live broadcast, or you can listen Thursdays and Fridays on KMET 1490 AM radio for all of you out on the West Coast. Until next time, keep enjoying your life with passion, purpose, and high quality living. We'll see you next time.
This work is subject to copyright owned by Affinity Global LLC. Any reproduction or republication of all or part of this is expressly prohibited unless Affinity Global LLC has explicitly granted its prior written consent. All other rights reserved.